value investment versus growth investing in Venezuela. Today we discuss.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
Today we are gonna explain how you can play the value investing strategy and the growth investing strategy in Venezuela. And I did a previous video saying that value investment doesn't work in Venezuela. Well, it's kind of more of a food for thought. And in case you don't know, I'm going to explain the strategies of both. First, in case you don't know, value investing is basically this investing philosophy that is very popular thanks to Benjamin Graham, the author of The Intelligent Investor, also by the most successful investor in history, Warren Buffett, and basically looks for value, of course, in companies and on assets and so on, that the market is not treating them like how valuable they are. So they require some research regarding each asset or each company. You want to look, for instance, in a company, you want to look a very good balance sheet, an accounting balance sheet, good income that also pays dividends, stuff of that nature, accounting nature that has a good accounting structure and good profits and so on. But the market is not praising, is not giving the particular value that deserves this particular company or this particular asset, and so on and so on. That's kind of the thing. Now, growth investing is more popular recently, is investing in something, an asset, company, waiting that the appreciation, the growth is going to grow on the future. So it doesn't rely on what is happening right now, and it's relying on what should happen on the near future. And the most common examples of growth investing are the tech companies, the Silicon Valley companies, what is known as the FANG stocks, these particular stocks that trade on the NASDAQ. Companies like Facebook, at some moment Facebook right now is Meta, Google, Alphabet, Amazon, also many of these, Tesla and Microsoft at some moment. So companies that not necessarily pay dividend, but has a lot of room to grow thanks to technology. Or it could be anything else. Right. And usually these companies, instead of paying dividends, what they do is they reinvest the dividends on the company, waiting for future growth. So if, let's say, you buy a stock of one of these particular companies, let's say $100, the value of the stock can go thousands and thousands of dollars and multiply a lot. So it's a more of a risky proposition. So it requires some risk management. However, it can be way more profitable than value investing. And of course, regarding growth investing, there is a lot of speculation, things like the things that happened during the dot-com bubble on the 2000s, on the 90s. So these stock companies, the dot-com companies, just because the internet was fat back then and it was the future. And of course, it became the future back then. And Amazon.com, Pets.com, also a bunch of companies that didn't make it. But there was a lot of speculation and created a great bubble. But at the end, on the 2000s, just collapsed and most of these companies disappeared, like 95%. But the most resilient ones, the ones that had a better business structure and a better accounting, they made it, or a great idea, they made it, and throughout the time, like Amazon, probably the biggest example, so Microsoft, that it was a juggernaut back then, so you get the idea. Now, how you should approach Venezuela if you are thinking about investing in Venezuela? Value investing or growth investing? Well, depends. Within Venezuela, something I have to explain, I made a video regarding why value investing doesn't work in Venezuela. And the main take about that video, you can watch it yourself, is that on that particular video, I explained that in Venezuela, the average Venezuelan overprices their own assets, real estate, their own business, their own cars, meat and poultry, and so on. So they always try to sell at a premium of the market price, everything. I mean, everything. The Venezuelans have that mindset. They prefer to lose on the transaction and wait a lot of time before they sell below of what they consider is the fair market value of their own assets. So it's going to be very, very difficult to do value investing in Venezuela for that particular regard. Now, this is within the Venezuelan market. For the outside market, Venezuela, depending on the market, is actually below international market value. You can get great real estate, maybe do some private equity. The real estate market is not a big deal here in the country, so it has a very low market cap. So, but depends on you and also how to access the market. Well, regarding that position, yes, Venezuela is actually underpriced for international standards. So you can get, on cents of the dollar, quote unquote, properties on the nicer real estate market. Also could be on private equity and so on. Depends on who you are and what are you looking for. And hence that you have a lot of room to grow. So on that particular case, I will say that regarding value investing, you can get a nice property or maybe a nice business and get some steady income. Of course, you have the nuances of doing business in Venezuela, and you have to be careful with that. But you have a small income already, so you don't have to wait to see something happen. You can work what we have right now, the status quo at the moment, and you most likely you're going to have a steady income and so on, depending on the investing that you do and so on. Maybe not as much, but you have income right now from a business or an asset. So meanwhile, if you want to play the growth investing thing, most likely, for instance, in real estate, you can buy on a nice, let's say, market of Venezuela. We have a handful of markets. I discussed it a bunch of times, and get a property that maybe can get 50% off, 2x, 3x, 4x, something that nature on the next decade. So maybe you have to wait a while. It can be 10x, something of that nature. And also, we have the hedge of the oil reserves in the country, and you're basically buying closer to the bottom than to the top of the market. Of course, the most important markets have grown significantly since the bottom of the market in 2018, but still are way far from the top. And that's probably the strategy that you might want to consider, but still is a growth investment strategy. Now, you can play both strategies and get something with a lot of upside and potential for the future. However, paying something already, so you have value already, you can make something already of that particular asset, of that particular investing, and then on the future, you also can get the big payment. But still, there are some speculation, some risk management, risk tolerance issues that you have to do, and you have to understand the situation. But the bottom line is you can play depending on who you are, because I know a bunch of value investors, I know a bunch of growth investors, and depends. This is a philosophy, it's a mindset of each particular individual, each particular investor. So depending on who you are, and get a good asymmetric risk position depending on your strategy for the future if you're interested in investing in Venezuela.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again and have a nice day.